welcome everyone to this episode of the Weekly Reset. I'm your host, Craig Blanchett, and for a long time, our community, the ultimate goal line was getting to a healthy weight. We put a massive amount of focus on what we call the reset phase. And while that phase is life-changing, we realized something crucial. Getting healthy is just phase one. Staying healthy and optimizing your body as you age requires a total different set of skills. So today we are officially moving the goalposts. We aren't just talking about weight loss anymore. We're talking about lifelong transformation through three distinct phases: reset, refine, and renew. So, to help us unpack the 30,000-foot view of what this means, I'm joined by two incredible leaders who haven't just taught this system, they've lived it out in their own bodies. So please help me welcome to the show, Doug and Tia Wood.
Good evening, everyone. We're so excited to be with you.
What's up, Trilivy fam? It's good to be back together. And Craig, thanks for hosting tonight. This is going to be a powerful 30 minutes of really something that you're right. I love how you said, Trilivy, we've stretched the goalpost. We learned a long time ago that getting to a healthy weight is actually getting back to the starting line and then building a healthy life from there. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yep. And so what's interesting too is as we talked in our prep and I've gotten to know your guys' story more, there was I guess a flirtation with true healthy bodies and that refine and renew phase, but it was really sort of reset-ish. And so kind of we're going to have a few photos here that talk about your journey. So walk us through how you see things and what was going on here based upon your perspective now.
Well, I think for all of us, we all have a different goal. We want to get healthy. And I remember my coach, he kept using this word health. And we're going to talk about the habits of health. And I'm like, I remember saying, Clay, I just want to lose some weight, because sometimes that can be when you haven't been able to successfully get weight off your body, and then you discover with Trilivy how easy it comes off, you do understand that the next phase is now adopting and changing and implementing those habits. And easier said than done sometimes.
That's right. And, this is lifelong. And that reset phase for us was a lot of getting our mindset right, for that first 3 to 5 years for us in our transformation journey. That reset, we kind of oscillated. We found ourselves, because it was weight loss. It was very weight loss focused. And it wasn't until we really decided to refine and kind of really have a full transformation in our mindset and begin to build muscle that we really saw true transformation.
I think as I've been coaching, you talk to people about weight loss, there's an assumption that weight loss means I'm healthier. And it's moving in that direction sometimes. I mean, you could have unhealthy weight loss too, of course. But what it seems like to me is there's just a bunch of assumptions that if I can get just weight off, first of all, it'll stay off. There's a big assumption. And second of all, that I'm now healthier and I don't really have to do much more. And so talk about your experience with that mentality.
I think I've used the word diet now because we all have a diet that we live, or is it something you do? And I think for the longest time I did a diet. Diet started Monday. I would even say reset started Monday. And I lived this diet mentality, but we all have a diet. And someone asked me the other day, "Are you on program?" I'm like, absolutely. I'm
We're all on a program.
I'm absolutely on a program, because what I love about reset is that it gives you the structure like a railroad track. It's like, I need to be told what to do. I need a coach that I check in with every single week. I need to eat 5 small meals a day to learn how to cook a healthy meal. And then as you utilize that and you fast track your way to a desired health or body composition, or get my visceral fat down, and then refine, you get to widen those railroad tracks a little bit where there's still structure, but it's a little bit more choice, a little bit more autonomy. And then of course we can get into renew here in a minute, we're still on program. It's just the railroad trucks are even a little bit wider, but everything is still definitely structured into it.
I think one thing I want to just add with reset is we're running, when you reset, most of us, when we come to this program, we saw our coach or someone that we loved had been transforming before our eyes, and we wanted that. And so when we first start on this journey, we're kind of running away from what we don't want. We don't want to be overweight. We don't want to be on blood pressure medication or whatever. So Doug and I were running away from what we didn't want. But when we began to change our orientation and began to realize, no, we're getting in the driver's seat of our health. We're not just resetting. We want to refine, and we began to partner with our future self. And that's what you're going to learn through this process with Trilivy is there's no finish line here. It's a lifelong journey. And that's the beautiful thing here with Trilivy is we're not just focused on weight loss. We're focused on attacking that visceral fat. We're focused on changing your body composition. And so that's what I love about this process is it began to not be about what we were running away from, but what we were running towards.
Yeah, that's really good because and I think it's very common because usually when we're doing something that's a big deal, we will only make the choice to do it if not choosing hurts more, right? And so something's really painful and you're like, I want some pain relief, and it has to get to the point where it's just so painful that I can't stay here, and I'm just trying to get a little bit away from that pain because that's going to be better than I am. And I think most of us start, and that is a good, I think that's a good catalyst to get started. I think most people, when it gets bad enough, you'll do something about it. And what it seems like for you guys, and we'll go into a little bit more of the refined phase, is you get away from just trying to get away from who you don't want to be, and you start like chasing after who you do want to be. So talk through that and how that worked in your guys' lives.
Well, understand that my friends on the line, I know, drop in the chat if you're currently on the reset plan and you're even winning at it. If you want to drop in your results, you can drop in your results. I love seeing results. Yeah. I see some boom day twos. Boom. That was the first one I saw come in, Greg, a boom day two. Awesome. A lot of people resetting right now. And one of the best things you can do is be proud to be in reset. I am on a targeted fat loss journey. There is not a better program than our reset plan. It is the best thing in the entire world. It's the easiest. It's simple. I get energy. I don't have hunger cravings. I don't have to overplan and meal prep different food. Like the more, I will say this, the more that you get into refine and renew, the more work it takes.
Yeah.
The more planning it takes, the more I'm going to use the word macros and counting. You're
traveling with food, prep food.
But you desire it. You develop a true hunger for it. Yes, it maybe has more boundaries, but it has more requirements. For the longest time, also Tia, I remember for the longest time used to say like, "Oh, I hate working out. I hate working out," as she was moving into refine. And I remember you had to change that languaging. You're like, no. At the time, you weren't, I'd be loving every workout, but it supported actually the mom and the person that you wanted to be because you wanted to graduate from reset versus kind of hanging out in that good enough and kind of what sometimes resetting for a couple of weeks and then back off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's the narratives that, if being overweight has been something that your family has battled with, and obesity is something your family has battled with, it runs out on you. And I had made kind of almost an agreement, I would say, that I didn't love working out, and I loved the reset because you didn't necessarily during that weight loss phase have to work out. And there was something that was beautiful about the program that attracted me to it because I was like, I didn't really like working out, but someone in my lineage kind of partnered with that. I think after high school and becoming an adult, I just didn't want to make time for that. And I wasn't good at it. And so you have to be not good at something in order to like step into that refining. And the last 5 years, really, Craig, of us stepping into the gym, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know the machines, all that stuff, but I hired a coach, just like I hired a Trilivy coach. I hired a coach. So yeah, it's a journey.
Well,
And
and I love that.
I'll just say that those were some of our early pictures
That was
of
that,
trying to get ourselves in the gym. And
figuring it out.
we also realized that we needed, and this is where I encourage every client and every coach on the line, get in group fitness. If you're just starting your journey, yes, we want to get 10,000 steps, but some type of a group, like I'm a huge fan of like the Orange Theories, the F45s, Pilates, something that is moving your body, but there's great accountability and encouragement. And I just like to be told what to do for an hour. And that was also our struggle early on, is we went and we're like, what should we do? Again, we didn't come from a healthy home. Now there's YouTube clips and stuff like that, but still, I kind of want someone blowing the whistle at me.
Yeah. I love that. And I've been a professional athlete and lots of athletic stuff in my past. And one of it's sort of my hacks, or could be helpers, is a strategy for the renewal process of staying, living in a body that's keeping up with my lifestyle. And um, in the reset phase, you don't have to do a lot of working out while you're resetting, but a body that has motion and that's put under stress will function and grow stronger. It's always better. And so for me, my hack is that, think of like a Bible study. When I'm in a Bible study with somebody, I will be more effective and more diligent to read, or even a book study, or anything you do. And working out is the same way. So if you strategically have a group that you work out that expects you to show up, you will. And that is, make it easier on yourself, and don't try to get fit and try to do the renew and the refine phase by yourself. So I dive into a little bit more of how you connected with community and how that kept you in the game at a different level.
Well, I know here in a couple of minutes you're going to show a next photo of us, but before you do, for the longest time, I battled this. I needed to reset, get down to back to my healthy weight, because if you don't transition to refine properly, you're going to deal with a lot of inflammation. And that's what we were doing, and we weren't locking in the habits of weightlifting or physical activity every single day. What we would do is we would do program and the reset for sometimes 3 to 4 weeks. Then we would be like, okay, we're good. So we would then add exercise, but we had stopped it for a while. So we'd add back in exercise. And then we'd end up going on a trip or a vacation or a family reunion or something. And we would break the habit of, we wouldn't stick to our reset or our transition or 4 and 2 or something like that. And our workouts would change, or we would stop working out for those 3 to 4 days. We would then get on the plane. You're just like, oh man, I'm all stressed. You'd grab something at the airport that you knew that you would regret later. You'd wake up the next day. You'd, of course, see how good I did on vacation, and you'd wake up and the scale would be up 4 pounds, because when you're in the reset phase, it's so much about pounds gained and pounds lost, which is about changing that narrative. Really, that's why I love the Renpho scale. It's getting to a healthy, getting metabolically synchronized is so much beyond weight.
Yeah.
But I understand when you've been in weight loss phase for so long that it's undoing your own habits around it. But then we would go back and we would stop working out and we would start the reset phase, and we would start, stop of this whole habit thing. So my encouragement to you all, if get into a healthy structure of exercise and movement and or weightlifting, and stay there. And that's where it shifted for us 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We said, no matter when we go on vacation, no matter what happens, we are going to work out 5 days a week, no matter what we ate the night before, no matter vacation, we're going to commit to 5 days a week, no matter what. And we've done that, and you can quickly see the difference. And I think what you're seeing there in the photo there on the left is actually T and I, right after our reset. And you can see, I like to call myself skinny fat.
That was on one of the incentive trips, I think.
It was.
Yeah, earned with Trilivy. And we had done a reset to really focus. I think we were dialed in for like 4 to 6 weeks before going. But then this was just us was this in France? That we were just on a trip just recently. And here's what I love, Craig, is I am leaner now than that picture, but what I've put on like 10 pounds of muscle since that original picture. And that's what can happen in Refine and Renew. The compound effect of consistent accountability and consistent habits and learning to lift and getting someone that's training me. And so I think that's the beautiful thing is it's not just about resetting, but what can really happen to your body in Refine and Renew.
I remember Lisa Castro said years ago, she says, you want to look good in your clothes, get to a healthy weight or lose weight.
Yeah.
You want to look good in a bathing suit, lift weights and exercise. And that is so true. And also what I love about exercise, I just want to give everyone some excitement to look forward to. When you get into renew and refine, but really renew, even though you have these guardrails, you have a lot more muscle, and so muscle burns fat and you get to eat a lot more. So if you do want to have what I love to call a choice meal, even a couple times a week, you don't pay the price for it like you would when you would go off and not transition properly from on a bad Friday night where you just got stressed out and you're like, I'm getting started again on Monday, and then you just wake up and it turned into a train wreck of a weekend. You realize if you want to have a cookie, if you want to eat the small thing of ice cream, you can. It doesn't cost you anything emotionally or mentally or even physically because your body is burning so much. And so, again, there's still balance there, but there's a whole lot more margin just to live your life.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I've heard a lot is we all had our favorites, and our favorites before the reset caused us to be in bad shape. That was the pre, pre-reset. We had our favorites, and those favorites didn't serve us. And if we learn new favorites that do serve us, then we're always getting what we want. And so it's about living and working with your coach and working in the community where you start to find, you know what, I'm not sacrificing eating this way. These are my favorites. And not only they're favorite from what I like to taste, but they're my favorite for how it makes me feel. And so it's like you don't have to sacrifice, just find and develop new favorites, right? And that's what you guys have done. And that kind of takes me into this next phase where we're talking about some of the things that you say don't serve you anymore. And the line in the sand that you guys have drawn to say, while in the moment these things might be attractive, they just weren't compatible with who I was becoming. So you guys talk a little bit about that.
I'm really grateful that Doug invited me for his 45th year on this planet to do a fitness competition. And it was the fall of, what year was that? 22. I think it was either September or October, Craig. He came to me and he said, for my 45th birthday, in April, I'd love to do a fitness show. And I'm like, oh, babe, that's so great. I will be there. I will cheer you on. And he's like, no, let's do this together. And it was a battle of my mind because honestly, it was worthiness. It was a lot of toxic mindsets that I had around it. And it just never felt like it was always something I wanted to do. I just never felt like I would ever be able to be disciplined enough to do it. And so we made a decision. And so that was the catalyst to us surrendering and giving up alcohol. In that season, we went on to take the stage. I won first in my category in that April of 2023. And thank you, confetti. So it was a decision. That's the power of decision. Everything in life is a decision to get on the Zoom tonight, a decision, the next thing, who do I want to become? Who is the grandma? Like, what's the grandma that I want to be for my grandkids? And I want to be a sober, healthy grandma. So the decisions I make today, and that started many years ago. That was 2023. And I can, say over the years, I've had beverages here and there, but I've been a full 15 months sober, and it's been the best decision I've ever made.
My buddy John there in the photo with me, he sent me the photo up top 3 days ago. He just texted me. He's like, what I found in my camera roll. And I'm like, when was that? It looks like we were at a game or something. He sent me, you know how your iPhone dates. You guys, this is embarrassing. This was April of 2022. That top photo was taken. And there's another photo that I had post, and I had a beer in my hand. And it's interesting because it was that fall, and I realized this is what your skin looks like when you're in and out of a reset mixed in with alcohol on the weekends. This is what's going on in your body. Your body is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you have muscle on your body or not, when you are living in and out of this phase, and why I want to talk about it, because I feel like it's, for us personally, and I'm not saying it is, for anybody, we all have our addictions and our challenges. For some people, alcohol is a challenge, other people it's not. For me, it really wasn't a thing. It was just something I did socially, but I realized, is this social thing that all of my friends around me are doing, is it serving me? Is it helping me to be the dad I want? Is it helping me actually getting, optimally healthy and where I want to be and where I want to live? And so sometimes it's just recommitting yourself and just saying, um, what would that look like? And I just want to encourage all of you clients out there, that, look at things and really look at it with fresh lenses from a 30,000 foot view, and say, you know what, I think you deserve to be your healthiest self. I think you can say no to anything for a season. It was interesting after that fitness show, because we had a very strict program that we followed for 4 months. And after the 4 months, I was like, I don't want to go back. When you get used to saying no, it reminded me the first time I was on reset when all of my friends were like, "Oh, you're eating that diet food, and you're too skinny. You don't need to do that." And people, your
They're
friends,
pushers.
yeah, all the food pushers and the alcohol pushers, they're saying things that they're trying to encourage you, but deep down inside, if you're not participating in sometimes the dysfunction with them, it creates insecurities. The friendship is changing. And so there's psychological safety in keeping you, heaven forbid, metabolically dysfunctioning. And so it reopened my eyes to some of these. And I just think it's something that we need to shed a light on as a community, that I think we can say no temporary, to something and say yes to what we really want long term. And I can tell you guys, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so great. I've been coaching now for, it's been almost 17 years. It's crazy. And I've been working with a guy over these years, about 5 years. And I talked to him actually after this call on Monday nights, and his name's Jason. And Jason, he had stayed at a overweight category for a while, and his big challenge was alcohol. He decided one day that he wasn't going to drink for 30 days, made a small commitment. And then 30 days came, and he said, "Man, I just feel different." And he moved on. And I remember 2 years later,
Yeah.
on one of our calls, he said, "I go, so share some good news. What's some good news in your life?" He goes, "I didn't drink." And I go, "Jason, do you know why you didn't drink?" He's like, "Why?" I go, "Because you're not a drinker." And he goes, "What?" I go, "The reason why," I go, "let's stop celebrating someone you aren't and celebrate someone you are. You're not a drinker. So let's talk about something else." And he said that's just like, it cemented something around his identity, that he was identifying as a non-drinker. Like, just move on to a new category, right? And so that was huge for him. And so now we're working on the next phase, the next thing that
Yeah.
he's given up. That, and alcohol, there's another thing I just want to put in. And sometimes people are, what's the lowest carb alcohol? Alcohol is poison to your liver. And as soon as it's introduced into your body and it gets to your liver, fat burning turns off, because your body can't burn alcohol and fat at the
Right.
same time. And it will prioritize the poison first. So any amount of alcohol when you're in the reset turns off fat burn. Just want to be really clear that everybody understands that.
Craig, and I want to add, that my trainer I hired a few years ago, he looked at me one day, because I was nibbling on some cheese, especially like Laughing Cow cheese and stuff, all the stuff that you're like, it's not like, the rest, all these stuff that is just like playing with fire. He says, Doug, if you really love the fat remaining on your body, if you really love hanging out at 16 to 17% body fat, He said, just keep drinking alcohol and keep eating dairy and cheese. And he looked at me like in the most serious but passive aggressive way. But he was just dead serious. He's like, clearly you love it.
He called you up.
He's like, just keep doing it a couple times a week. And he goes, the fat will stay right where it's at and it'll slowly go up and it'll show up through inflammation. And I was just like, okay. But I'll tell you, Craig, I know we're running short on time. I, I wouldn't be where I'm at physically if I hadn't started guiding a couple other people to do the program with me.
Yeah.
Because I knew you talked about Bible study and all of us, some people are into horses and then they start training horses and they learn a lot more.
Yeah.
I found that if I wanted to concrete my health journey, I needed to guide a few people on the reset. Now I ended up realizing I loved the reset and I realized I loved coaching other guys and gals and other couples. And it blessed us financially. And that's what Trilivy is: healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. But just from doing the reset, your finances increase because your energy goes up and you perform better as a human in your day job or whatever. But I just wanted to make sure that all the clients and coaches on the line understand how important it is to help 4 to 5 people a month do the plan, because of it might be self-serving, but what it does for you.
Yeah.
And what you're doing for others. And that's how we continue this mission, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love what you said there. And anytime, I mean, those of us, put a one in the chat if you've been on a mission trip thinking you were going there to serve and you got served, right? And you come back going, what? I'm so blessed. Or anytime you go and you serve in some community event and you come back with just a heart that's full. And that's very, very similar to what we get here. And I know for me too, I struggle with my weight off and on. And when I started making this my vocation and my hobby, it was both. That's when things shifted, and I've been able to stay at a healthy weight for all these years, and it's been fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us tonight and giving this 30,000-foot view of the three phases: the reset phase, the refine phase, and the renew phase. And I want you guys to tee up this here, the Metabolic Reset Summit. Tell us about what's going on with this.
We are going to be going across this nation. The community, the leadership of Trilivy is coming to your area. We have put these locations so that within 3 to 5 hours, you can drive and get to one of these locations. We kick it off this Friday night in Dallas, Texas. It's actually in Arlington. And we cannot wait to see this room full of people that are hungry and ready for change and breakthrough. Friday night is for guests and clients, any family that wants to come and see the vision of Trilivy. What does a metabolic reset look like?
And really, we're going to break down we're going to go deeper into these subjects like we did tonight. We're going to be talking about refine. We're going to be talking about renew. We're going to be doing some, because Trilivy is all three. We're going to be talking about some healthy mind sessions, emotional intelligence, how to grow, how to be a better
Step out of the drama triangle.
Yeah, so these events are designed to take your health and your life next level. And also then Saturday it's gonna be a strong training for those that are looking at coaching and the coaches on how do we help 15 people in 90 days transform their health. And so go to getamericahealthytour.com. And if you're anywhere near Dallas this Friday and Saturday, we'll be there. Next weekend, we're in Long Island. And after that, we are all around over the next fall. It's going to be a powerful time. So come put yourself in the room and learn more. You'll be really encouraged.
Yeah, thank you guys. Awesome. Well, it's been a great night. I want to invite you all every Monday at this same time. We have the weekly reset. And next week, we're talking about the three components, which is healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. Of course, every one of these Monday nights is recorded. And so we have a growing library of podcasts and on YouTube and on Facebook. And so you guys can check out those things. You can look for, it is called the weekly reset.live. And that's where you can find this recording later. So thank you guys for being part of this. By the way, Doug and Tia, they've been moving, and I bet you lifting boxes in your new bodies is a whole different experience, right?
Right.
Good job. Good job,
For
you guys.
sure.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.